welcome to another great episode of Boca Business with Papa Sturm. Show about everything business, social, everything Boca Raton. Today, I have a very special guest today who happens to be my landlord, who I met many years ago. He doesn't quite remember that I met him many years ago, but a really nice guy. We just met recently through a mutual friend, Jim Batmasian.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Sure.
How you doing? You take your time out of a beautiful. We got a people. I guess like you look up north and people are plowing out of snow and this and that. And I heard this morning it's going to be in the 80s or something like that. Or
yeah,
and I heard you were partially responsible for that. You brought the you brought the beautiful weather down here, huh? Yes. So we're just going to get right into it. So Jim is clearly you're clearly a legend in this area. I know that you don't remember, but I used to do a lot of work with SunTrust Bank, and you bought some properties, some trust properties from us like 1,000 years ago. I think you were 7 at the time, but no. So I was on the way in here today. I was talking to my college roommate, and I said, "Oh, on my he was asking me like who's your man in your podcast?" And we've had celebrities. Tony Orlando's been on. Highland. What's Highland's first name?
Brian.
Brian Highland. That's it. Brian Highland, who sang. Remember the song "Eeny Weeny Polka Dot Bikini"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on. We have UFC fighters, and now we have the celebrity in Jim Batmasian. And so I was talking, and I said, he goes, "Who's on?" I said, "Jim's going to be on today." And I go, "Do you know who he is?" He's like, "Of course, who doesn't know Jim Batmasian?" So I don't know if you realize what a real legend in this area you really are.
Legend in my own mind. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Got it.
So all right. So let's just cut right to it. So you threw out a number of how many retail spaces you have. I won't ask about that, but how did you? It's an eye-popping number of. I know you anywhere in Boca up to Del Rey, Deerfield. I guess where I don't know where else. It's investments limited. How'd you get started? Tell me about the very first property you ever bought.
Well, I went to Boston to go to graduate school, and I was living in the dorm right near Harvard Square. Very nice dorm, but the problem was that we only had 2 guys, and we had 2 beds in 1 bedroom, and all these cute girls around, and we had to come home, and I had him snoring next to me. So we figured out that after a couple of months, one of us had to go.
Right.
So I went around and looked for apartments, and the Boston market is horrible. I mean, it's very tough to rent, very expensive. First, last, security, brokerage fee. I couldn't afford it. So I said, well, what's plan B? Maybe I can buy a multi-unit somehow. And
this is while you're in grad school.
Yeah, I just started. I was just there 3 months in 1969, and maybe I can buy it and figure it out. So because I didn't have the money to get an apartment, so I found I hunted around, and I found a 3-family house in an adjoining town that was a low-level town, but it was pretty close to the university. But it was kind of a working class kind of a town called Somerville. And the owner was Irish, and we became friends. And how are we going to do this? So, I went to the bank, and I got an 80% loan, and he gave me a purchase money mortgage for 5 years and interest, and we became friends. And I was able to get into the house with a few $100 on a credit card.
Wow.
Basically.
Yeah.
And but then I had to make it work, so. Then I converted all the rooms. It was 3 stories, everything to individual rooms with individual locks. And I took the downstairs and made the living room into a bedroom so that I could live for free. And then I converted the basement into an apartment so I'd have extra income. And then I charged for all the parking around. So now I was paying everybody, and I had living for free, and I had a positive cash flow. And I said, wow, this is a lot better than paying rent to a stupid landlord.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could possibly, maybe I can do this again. So I went to the bank and borrowed $5,000 on my equity, and I bought 5 more houses.
In that same Somerville area.
5 more 3-family houses.
Okay.
And I think I was going into my sophomore year.
Okay.
And I said, this is pretty cool. So I just kept doing that. I think I was 21, 22. That was 54 years ago. And I just been doing the same thing for 54 years. So, that first little house that I bought, it's at 4 Nevada Avenue in Somerville. And it's been paying me rent checks since 1972. So what is that? That's 52 years. It's been giving me 3 rent.
And you still own that. You still own that property.
3 rent checks for 52 years.
Wow. So you're a holder. You don't.
So we bought the house with nothing down, and it just got assessed for $1.8 million.
Wow. With no money down. I mean, what was
then you can take you go to the bank if it's assessed for $1.8 million, and you can conservatively borrow half of that, $900,000, and you can take the $900,000, come down to Florida, and you can buy a $4 million building with $900,000 down, very conservatively.
Right.
So that's just one house, but I had bought 20 or 30 or more, 40 by the time I was still in Boston. I kept doing it. I was working full time, for a law firm, had wife, 2 kids, but I just kept buying the real estate and income producing real estate, trying to get it to cash flow, and then refinanced all of that real estate, and then came down to Florida full time about 1983.
Okay. Oh, so you had done this for 20-something years or so?
No, I was about to 73 to about 10 years, 11 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
up there. And then I came down here, and I had nothing. I didn't have any property. I rented an office.
You came down to Boca, or what area?
We came down to Boca Raton.
Okay.
Mom and Dad were here. They wanted to be with the grandkids. And I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay. All right.
That was a condo. I bought it at the Wildflower one night when I was drunk, and I was the highest price ever paid for a condo. It was $60,000.
Okay.
Turned out to be a bargain.
Yeah, back then it didn't seem so, but now it's
on the Intracoastal.
Okay.
So the boys lived in the living room, and we lived in the bedroom. It was a 1-bedroom apartment, anyway, condo. So, but I rented an office for $200 a month at my present location, 215 North Federal. And I got tired of playing golf after a week and nothing to do. So, what does an Italian chef do when they go to a new town? They try to cook Italian food. So what does a real estate guy do when he comes down? He looks for real estate.
There you go.
So fortunately or unfortunately, downtown Boca was a combat zone. It was all distressed.
Was it really?
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
I did not know that. Again, because I've lived here since 1967. I guess we didn't, I lived in Broward County, so I guess we never came up to this area, didn't realize that it was.
Everyone had left downtown Boca, and they all went to the fancy Arvida country clubs.
Right.
Out
remember
west.
when Arvida took over all of South Florida. Sure.
So I was here, and I was knocking on doors, and whatever I could pick up for little to no money down, purchase money mortgage, maybe get the bank to finance it. I just bought anything I could.
Was it retail? Was it residential?
Anything.
Or what was it?
Doesn't matter.
Anything was for sale.
Anything, and it's just expanded. But it's basically try to stay within 30 minutes of my little office in Boca and just buy anything I can possibly buy that I can rent out to add value to make it better.
And you still have all the stuff in Somerville at this point.
Most of it, yeah.
At that point,
most of it. I still have all the stuff up there and a little office up there that manages. But you take a penny. You wonder how this happened, because we're the largest property owner in town. I'm told, second largest taxpayer in Palm Beach County. But starting from zero, that's not so important. But starting from zero is interesting for other people to learn. But it's about save, invest, don't spend.
Save, invest, don't spend.
You take a penny,
right?
You double it every day. 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents. Keep going till the 31st day. It's 2.4 million.
Okay.
People don't understand that. A lot of people they live from paycheck to paycheck. If they make more money, they spend more money. Well, we just never did that. My wife and I, we had $500 cars because we could pay $500 and have a car.
Right.
And we always had a 3-family house, so we never paid any money for a mortgage. We never paid any rent. Never had a housing cost, and we've never paid interest on a credit card. We credit charge, but we just pay it.
Right.
So you save all that money and you just keep investing it, and it multiplies over time. And so that's the kind of advice to other people. I would say, save, invest, don't spend,
Right.
and try to build up.
It's funny because on a dramatically smaller scale, I learned that lesson about 18 years ago or so when I bought my first Massage Envy, and I was doing very well with it and everything. I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna take the profits and buy another one.
There you go.
And by the time I was done, I had 5 of them.
There
and
you
then
go.
but it wasn't a business that I still have a bunch, but that's what you got to do. I guess you got to keep reinvesting in yourself, and so
You have to, but you also have to love what you do.
Sure.
Because then it's not work. You want to get up in the morning and you want to make things happen, and you get excited. I mean, I get excited. I buy a condo, at a foreclosure sale and able to add value to it and rent it out. It's a little tiny thing for me now, but I still get excited by it.
So
you got to enjoy what you do.
So it's funny because I 100% agree that when I wake up and I knew today you were going to be on my podcast today, and I was like, okay, we spoke a couple times. It was a very friendly conversation. I'm like, he has no idea how much fun this is going to be. He has no clue. I spoke to Leslie and all the people from your office, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm like, and it's just so much fun. And one is you walked in here, and I think you see the impressiveness of it, but then us just talking, you realize like, wow, this is enjoyable. So I 100% agree. Like I wake up and I've had businesses where I didn't, and actually I owned a real estate company, and the real estate was just not for me. We did like condo conversions and all that. And everybody has their thing, I guess.
So let me tell you about my condo. You mentioned condo conversions.
Yeah.
Because I'm a buy and hold guy. So we bought this building, and my wife wanted me to buy it in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was $10,000 a unit, just in Central Square, not far from Harvard Square. It was 30 units for around $300,000. And we worked our...
It was a rental building.
Rent controlled, and my wife worked so hard. We renovated the units. Finally, after a year and a half, 2 years of slavery, we sold them for about an average of about $25,000 a unit. And we're happy. We made $10,000, $15,000 profit. This was like an amazing amount of money for us. Well, let's do a fast forward. They're going for $750,000 today.
Sure.
And you could have collected a rent check for 50 years. And I gave up the rent check and gave up the $700,000 because I cashed out with thinking I was being a smart guy with the condo conversion.
Right.
So I guess but condo convert. Well, I don't want to go. We can talk about real estate all day long.
I have a great condo conversion story. I'll tell you offline.
Basically, I'm a buy and hold. I'm a turtle. Income, take the income, reinvest it, let the value of the property go up. Do things to make the property better. Make your tenants happy. And then take the money that you make when you're not investing it, and this is the other part, is do good in business so you can do good for humanity. I remember 20 years ago, the first time I ever gave any money away, it was some charity event. We're all sitting around a table with a black tie, and everybody was taking out, checks. And I said, "What's this? I came down here, lived in a 1-bedroom. I'm trying to buy real estate.
Yeah.
I'm going to give money away. This is crazy." Maybe it was 25 years ago. And I took out you had to write it. I mean, it was just embarrassing.
Right.
So I wrote this check out. I think it was $1,000 or something 25 years ago.
And you're like shaking when you
I'm shaking. My head was absolutely shaking. But God has blessed that giving millions and millions and millions of times over and over again. And there is a God out there watching what you're doing. So today, fast forward, I spend about 50% of my time on charities.
So let's perfect segue. Let's talk about that because again, before you came on here, I spoke to some of the people that you work with, and they told me about the charities and some of the charitable work that you do. I didn't even I didn't even realize all that. I obviously knew the legend and all that, but I didn't. Tell us a little bit about some of the charity work that you do.
Well, 25 years ago, I was afraid to go to this place called Dixie Manor because it was a black housing project. And I'll drive in there with my rich white guy with a red car.
Right.
I'll get stones thrown at it and offered drugs. But one day I was at church on Sunday, and something was said at church. It came to me. I slept on it, and they said, "You got to go over there Monday morning." God was telling me to go there. Use the talents that I gave you, son, for good. So I went there. We started a program every Monday. We would go to their community center. We loaded it up with food. We had speakers. We told them about finance, jobs, banking, college, and it grew, and they got all excited about it. And then my wife got involved, and of course she's she has to make this into a nonprofit and have a board of directors and everything, and give it a name. So we started an organization called Propel about 25 years ago. So we take underprivileged kids, no dads, poor, 4 kids in the family, right after school. We don't let them go out in the street and do drugs and get in trouble and commit crimes. We pick them up with our little van and we take them to our study center. And we're their mommy and daddy, from age 10 to 18. With dance, music, art, tutoring, make it fun, take them to some Dolphins games, and a lot of food, and get their grades up. So instead of sending them to jail, we send them to college.
Wow.
We just had a reunion last week of the Propel graduates.
Yeah.
22, 23, 24. My heart went out. I mean, doctors, lawyers, bankers, CPAs, political
And these are all people that graduated the program.
These are all little 8-year-old kids from the housing project.
I literally got chills
And
hearing that.
I was choked.
Yeah.
I choked up. And there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So we've started 4 more chapters of this organization in other cities. And my goal when I get up there and looking down is to have, 100 of these chapters all throughout the country.
Okay, so if
so that's one charity.
All right, let me just say so. So if people that might be listening to this might want to get involved, is there a place for people to get involved in this, or?
Yeah, it's Propel, P-R-O-P-E-L, propelyourfuture.org.
Propel
your future.
Propelyourfuture.org. Okay. All right.
And I have phone numbers and so forth. I'll be happy to give my phone number out. No problem. Everybody has it anyway.
Okay.
So that's going
Propel Your Future. Okay.
Really well when we have other schools. I mean, we have crime problems. We have kids breaking into retail stores and smashing glass fronts, right? Well, instead of smashing glass fronts, maybe they should be taking their books to college and learning and making $100,000 a year and being a professional person. Wouldn't they rather do that than go into jail for smashing glass fronts?
Sure, it's a better life.
It's a better life.
Right.
The other one that we started about 5 years ago was homeless. Mm-hmm. And so we saw everybody was just giving things away to homeless. Give them food, give them clothes. Let's give them a free place to live. We'll give them free haircuts. What can we give away? That's the best way. The problem is when they walk out, they're still back on the street. All you've really done is enable them to continue their homelessness as a way of living. You've actually perpetuated it. Mm-hmm. So we thought about something different as to about how we can change their life, get them off the street. So we started a nonprofit called Changing Lives. By the way, it's changinglives.me.
Changinglives.me.
M-E. Uh-huh. In fact, when I leave here in about 30 minutes, I'm due up at 1000 North Dixie Highway, and we'll have about 15 homeless people there and 5 mentors. And we've started a mentoring program, which is basically one-on-one. So we'll assign one of my friends, and they'll be in charge of Johnny or Sally and get their whole life story and sit down with them at Starbucks, have a coffee, and become their friend. And say, tell me what happened to you. How did you go down? What happened? Alcohol, drugs, your parents beat you up. Why are you in this situation? How can we improve it? How can we get you back out of here, get you back up the ladder to success? And so, we offer them free housing in a sober home. The condition is they can't drink and drug, of course.
Right.
They go to classes. They attend church with us. We do vocational training with them. We get them licensed. We get their driver's license back. We reunite them with their family. We finance their car. We get them working again. We get them back their life again. We get them back their self-esteem again. And it's just amazing when they have to be sober to go to work, and they make that $500 or $600, and they say, I had to panhandle, and get beaten up and robbed and raped on the street. Now I go like a regular person. I go and everybody respects me.
And they have a sense of self-worth.
They have a self-worth. It's all what it's about.
It's funny too. Going through a divorce and all this, I realized I had to gain something from that. And what I gained was I volunteered in Broward County for the Guardian Ad Litem program, and I had
good.
43 kids over the time that I was there. And one kid, he was abandoned, and his mom was in jail, left at Burger King, the whole thing. And to this day, he's a college graduate. And all the time, his name is Glenn. He calls me Pa, and he thanks me. And I'm like, no. The feeling, I literally got chills as I'm telling you the story.
Yeah.
It's a gift for me.
Yeah.
You know, the feeling that I well up when I think about it. It's
Who got more out of it, you or him, right?
Right, exactly. I think
see,
that, yeah.
These homeless people, you understand, they live in tent city. They don't have any friends. Their family has cut them off. You become their friend, and you sit down with them one-on-one and show them love, show them your heart, show them you care. Don't give them clothes and food, and don't give them part of yourself.
Sure.
And you share with them, and you care about them. And you say, okay, so all right, now tomorrow morning, here's where you're going to go. I'm going to meet you over here, and we're going to start work on your driver's license, and we're going to get you cleaned up. We're going to put you in the sober house. You're going to have a place to live, some food, and now we're going to start you up the ladder of success.
Sure.
And they have somebody that cares for them. We share phone numbers together. They contact you. You know your mentor knows where you are every single day. You've got to be accountable to the mentor. You can't lie. No more fooling around anymore, because we're only going to help you if you want to help yourself.
Right. You got to help yourself, and that's half the battle.
So we're starting to talk to the Rotary Club about them. I'm looking for mentors. I'm looking for this one-on-one. So if anybody listening out there, please contact me, because I'm looking
again,
for
the name of the organization again is
ChangingLives.me.
ChangingLives.me. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll give you my office number is 561-392-8920.
8920.
Contact me. I'm there.
Jim Batmasian.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
So
you're there 7 days a week.
Well, yeah, I am.
Still?
But I mean, not all day, but yes, I do go by.
All right, because I'm going to come by Sunday. Make sure you're there one of these days.
I'm there in the afternoon after church. I'm there. Yeah.
All right.
So
I'm teasing, but yeah.
we're just starting to talk to the Rotary Club, as an example, because there's a great organization. I'm a member. I'm going to a function actually tomorrow night, and if we can get mentors from the Rotary Club, right, to agree to go one-on-one and meet, just take on one of my homeless people. Just try it for a week. Give me an hour a week of your time as a good person with your heart to talk to this person and try to push them along. If that's successful here in Boca, can you imagine we get the word out to all the Rotary Clubs in the whole country?
Sure.
And say, Boca Raton now has the secret formula to solving the homeless problem. We can go into any tent city, and we're going to collaborate with, we can start with the Rotary Club, but I'm sure there's other, Boys and Girls Salvation Army, other great organizations that we partner with that are already there in all those cities. But we're going to teach them the magic formula on solving homeless, because I don't think anybody has it now. It's just a giveaway program.
I have two things to say about that. One is when you talk about expanding it, that's music to a franchise guy's ears. but I'm kind of welling up, because I'm seeing the magnitude of this moment, because I started to tell you when we were going to start this. I have a son that just graduated Vanderbilt with a law degree and a PhD in economics. And Jim, what he's doing is he's working at UT Southwestern Medical School, and he's working on the homeless problem. His whole thing is all about the homeless problem.
I want to meet with him.
So this is. So the reason why I'm welling up is okay. It's kind of like strange, coincidentally, how we met, how we talked, how when I first started this business, my son wasn't doing that. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're doing this and we're talking about this, and this is brought up right now.
Mark, God says there are no coincidences.
There are no. We just have to figure out. We just have to put the pieces together.
So 30 minutes from now, I'm going to be sitting in a room with 15 homeless people, trying to push their lives forward with some of my friends as mentors. But I need more mentors.
I have an idea. We'll talk about this offline. I have an idea using this, how we can get more mentors also.
Last topic.
Yeah.
So you've gone up the ladder of success, and let's say you have acquired wealth, and you're giving back on this earth, and you're helping people and charities, whatever a man's causes, whatever he likes, but not just with your pocketbook, with your heart. That's the important thing. What do you do when you kick the bucket? Okay, when you go up to heaven, God willing. What happens? So, you have a couple of choices. You can leave your billions to your children, and they can be spoiled trust fund brats, babies. Who knows what they're going to do with it, or fight, or lawsuits, or do nothing in their life. There's a book called What Happened to Their Kids. You might want to read that book,
Right.
because it shows all the derelicts that happen from the rich people. What we decided to do, and we're of course we're doing a few things for our children. We're not, and our grandchildren, but what we decided to do, the whole bulk of it, is to when we pass away, the wife and I, right now it's all going into our charitable foundation. So the company will continue. Everybody will keep their jobs, continue to collect rents. Nobody's going away. Nothing's happening, except every quarter, my kids and the trustees, and we're going to sit down at the same conference table that I sit down at every day doing business, except they're going to sit down and decide who gets the money.
That's wonderful.
All the income from the company, and as it grows, as the rents increase and so forth, are going
Rents increase.
well, CPIs, whatever, are going to be the cash flow is going to be given away.
Right.
Nonprofits are going to apply. Well, here I'd like to have the money because I'm doing this project, or we're poor, or we're needy, or all over the country, and we're going to be giving it away to the ones that qualify to get the awards.
Okay, well, there's one more subject I'd like to touch. It's funny because I think we could.
But I think that's a good model for other wealthy families to think about.
Of course, you got to give back. You got to give back. You really do. My parents taught me that from day one. There's always, we discussed some Jewish. There's always a thing in our house. It was tzedakah, no matter where we are, no matter where, and which is charity. And it's not just. And you're right. It's more about giving your heart and your soul.
I thought it was called mitzvahs.
Mitzvahs is you're doing good deeds. Tzedakah is the money that you put into it. Okay. And
I'm not converting, but
you're not?
No.
Damn it! I lost another one. Darn it! I'm 0 for 6 this week.
Well, I'm a big fan of Jesus. He's one of your boys.
He's one of ours.
Yeah,
he played for our team.
Yeah.
So there you go. But I've leased from you guys for a couple of years now and everything, and have known about you and everything. But one thing I've always known is you have really quality people working with you. And I never say working for, I always say working with, because we're all a team. And here at Podcast Junkeez, we talk about culture and creating this culture of family and all that and everything. And I think you've done the same thing. And you were telling me beforehand a little bit about, again, it obviously goes from the top down. And you're obviously now meeting you're a good guy with a good heart and everything. Just tell us a little bit, just one little thing. Tell us a little bit about the rental program.
In terms of employees, it's pretty statistically, only 1/3 of the reason that an employee is with you is because of money.
100%.
People don't realize that, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
2/3 is all the other stuff, and we try to be okay on the money part, but the other part we try to be big on, and that's. Come join the family. You're part of us, and I try to do a lot of that with my tenants too. By the way, we try to help them when they're in trouble. Not
can I call you Dad?
Throw them out.
You're not old enough to be my dad. I'm kidding.
No, just try to be reasonable about it.
Yeah.
40 of my employees have homes. Mm-hmm. 40 of my employees have different cars as a result of us. We recently started this rent-to-own program about a year, 12 months, 15 months ago, and we bought 15 homes and condos from $200,000 to $2 million, and because the rents have gotten crazy and high, and they're paying rent, they're kind of slaves to some landlord, and they're insecure about where they're going to be, and if they're insecure about where they're going to live, how are they going to stay working for me,
right?
Or stay my friend? So they may have to leave the area. Be uprooted. Well, that's sad, right? Because of a house or a car or anything else. So we have this rent-to-own program. So I will buy the unit. Maybe we'll get a good deal. We can buy it at a foreclosure, cash, close the same day, make offers on stuff. So we'll buy something, and I'm just making up a number, $400,000 for a 2-bedroom condo, right? So they pay the normal rent of whatever the rent is, $2,500, let's say, but that's fixed, and they stay working for me 1 year, 2 years, whatever. We give them in the contract option to buy the property from me at the same price that we paid.
So you make no profit on them?
Oh, no, I don't make anything on this.
Right.
And then we help them further to qualify to get a mortgage. So we get their credit score up. We tell them how to do that. We qualify them for a 3% down FHA loan, so they end up buying. So in a year or two, that what we bought for $400 now is worth $600. They buy it for $400, or they can sell their option for $200,000. They don't ever have to buy it, but they're benefiting all the time. So we're trying to do everything that we can to help our employees. We pay for all their education, vocational ed. They want to go to real estate school. They want to go to CAM, property management school. There's a whole lot of other things. You know, we give them all these courses and stuff to benefit, to improve their lives. We want to make them feel like they're my, if not my real children, at least they're my foster children,
Sure.
or at least my adopted children.
Of course, and when you create that failing of family, that culture, people are never going to leave you, right? And you're right. It's funny because I for a while there I owned a staffing company, and one of the questions I always ask is, what motivates you? And if their first answer was money, that's to me it's it's got to be life is about way more than just money.
Yep.
And it's experience and life and who you're working with and your team and all that and everything. It's funny. I think that we could talk for hours, you and I.
We could.
This is fun, isn't this?
This is good.
So just give me the names and the how people could reach out to those two charities again.
Okay, so Changing Lives, www.changinglives.me.
Changinglives.me. Okay.
And propelyourfuture.org.
How do I spell Propel?
Propel.
Propel.
Yourfuture.org. And my office phone, 561-392-8920, anytime. And I'm available to my employees, my tenants, virtually 24/7.
That's awesome.
Any help, personal help, or help with their job, they can walk in, they call me. My conference room door is open all the time. This is
wonderful. It's funny. I've always known the legend of Jim and sold your property about 1,000 years ago, and now I finally get to meet you, and I realize what a great guy you are. I really appreciate you taking your time, coming down. We'll talk offline a little bit more about your charities and how I might be able to help or whatever and get involved. But thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Another great episode. Mid-January. Gorgeous day out while the rest of the country is absolutely freezing. We're going to hit 82 degrees today. So we're literally living in paradise. Again, thank you for listening. Look forward to talking to you. Come join Podcast Junkeez. PodcastJunkeez.com, right? Come on, join. We're a family here. It's a lot of fun. Take care.
God bless.
Isn't that fun?
It was fun. It was good.
Yeah.